Welcome to Big Business with Sarah, the show for experienced entrepreneurs who want to grow their impact and income through value-based outputs. Are you a freelancer or a small business owner with 10 to 20 years of work experience? And is it finally time for you to reap the fruits of your labor and to recreate the business you will love? My name is Sarah Berkenkamp, and I'm helping you every Thursday to take your dream business closer to reality. Do not forget to subscribe to my show and catch every episode. Welcome to episode 17 of Big Business with Sarah. Thank you so much for listening. And today we're going to talk about my 8 productivity hacks. And I love talking about this because, I love to be finding new ways to be at my most productive because my time is very valuable and yours is too. And before we start, I want to talk about we are opening this week, or last week we opened the mastermind, and it's starting next week. And there's only a few spots left, and I would love for you to join me. A mastermind is really about connecting with other entrepreneurs and with me, obviously, and working on creating your impeccable offer, really getting those income goals, whether it's 5K, 10K, 20K, 30K, maybe even more per month. I'm here for you and I'm ready for you to take on that next step. So just a few spots left. You can find everything, all the information in the description here. So, and I've also created a free download for you. It's called the Productivity Checklist, and this will be additional to the advice that I'm giving you here today. So it's 8 steps in becoming more productive. I'm very much looking forward to start with the first one. Step 1, I tend to focus on my targets every day. So I have every quarter I've created 3 goals. So actually at the beginning of this year, I created a sort of business plan, but a fun business plan for myself. And I decided to have bigger plans, and then I would have smaller plans, and I would divide them in the quarters of the year. So every year has 4 quarters, obviously, and I have 3 goals per quarter. And those small goals all lead to bigger goals, of course. And those are my year goals. And actually creating that quarter goals really gives me a lot of confidence. And I will talk more about that in the third point, actually. But to create those 3 goals is really going to help you also focus on what you have to do every day. It really helps me. So for instance, when I'm kind of wandering off, or when I really want to take a break or anything, then I can think, you know what, I already worked on my 3 goals today, so I can actually take a walk or, go outside. For instance, that's something I would love to do right now because it's great weather. And I will do that after recording these podcasts. So that's the first step. And then the second step is having a morning routine. This is something that I have recently picked up on, and I actually love doing it. So you've heard everyone talk about their miracle morning and everything, or I don't know, like people who are taking hours and hours to prepare before they can go actually to work. But what I love to do is just take 5 to 10 minutes. Put on some music that I'm in the mood for. Sometimes it's, jazzy lounge. Sometimes it's soft pop music. Sometimes it's some sort of Ibiza lounge. I don't care. Whatever you're in the mood for. Classical music. Light maybe a candle with a lovely scent. And I have a little basket I've created for myself with all different kinds of journals, exercises, a blanket, some favorite things. And I'm calling it my love basket. It's a little bit a self-love basket. And I'm just currently really focusing on journaling and specifically on gratitude, because I'm noticing that when I'm grateful for everything that I have in my life, then a lot of things will come to me as well. I like that energy. It's just something I really love to do, and it's helping me focus on the day. And I'm also writing down my daily goals. Well, so I actually already know them because my third advice is when I'm planning things, I am always writing down days, weeks, or monthly plannings. So, for instance, and they are all going towards those quarterly goals. And this gives me a lot of confidence. So, for instance, I remember in my first quarter of this year, our first quarter of this year, I was really thinking, oh, I should work with Facebook ads and I should, get more leads in. Whilst actually I wrote it down as a goal for quarter number 2. And while I was all the time thinking, yeah, Facebook, I didn't want to do it because I knew that, that was part of my quarter number 2 goal. So it gave me a lot of confidence. It also made sure that I wasn't distracted by, quick ideas. No, I was trusting my own planning and my own process. So, you know what? No, the Facebook ads will only happen from April on. And actually now I'm running them a little bit, trying to see how it works, if it works for me. But so, that gives you a lot of confidence. And so if you have written down those 3 quarterly goals, you can also write down monthly goals. This can be goals like client goals, maybe money goals, maybe content goals, I don't know. And then weekly goals. So I am writing down every week. So at the end of every week, I'm reviewing my week. I'm looking at what I did and what I'm proud of. And then for the next week, I'm looking at, okay, what should we do? How can we make this better? How can I let my business be the business that I want, even, one step closer? So that's something I'm used to do it on Thursday or Friday. And then on Monday, I am reviewing it again. But most of the time, that weekly planning is good. And then, of course, every day, because I already planned every day the whole week, I'm looking at it and yeah, that's how I work. And it works really great for me. Sometimes, of course, there's days that I'm thinking, oh, I really don't feel like, I don't know, hopping on a sales call. I mean, I always do that, but maybe I don't feel like talking to a lot of people. So then I won't do that and I will create content, for instance. But it gives me some sort of framework and it's not like, I don't know what to do today. So that was the third tip. Then the fourth tip I want to share with you is eliminate as much meetings as possible. So I tend to do meetings currently only if it's a hyper-focused meeting. So I want really to have some sort of checklist at the end of each meeting that I am doing right now. And I just want everybody to for instance, with my team, I really want everybody, okay, let's do this. How can we change this? And then that's it. We're not really, I mean, of course, we can talk about personal stuff, but I tend to not do that too much because I am using my time, but also others' time. I want to use it well because I think time is so important, actually. So, for instance, with my team, I'm mostly using Slack, and it's fine. They can answer me within 48 hours. It doesn't even have to be, immediately. If there's really an emergency, I'll call them. But most of the time it's not because I have a good planning. Sometimes it happens still, but I'm really trying to not have it too many times. And then I also have, for instance, when I want to talk to a possible client or someone within my network that, for instance, I'm helping, I am planning in 30-minute meetings, and I'm planning those in Calendly, and that's automatically connected to my Zoom. So my the people that want to have that meeting with me, they can just really easily click, see my calendar, and then click in that meeting, and it's booked. So that really has, changed my life. Is really, really big. But it has really made my life a lot easier. Eliminate meetings and create all those meetings using Calendly. Then the fifth step that I want to talk about is eliminate unnecessary processes. So, for instance, reading your emails every time an email comes in, please stop doing that. I know it's exciting getting those new orders in, but it's also fine for you to read those at the beginning and at the end of the day. Once a day, twice a day, maybe. And for instance, I am supporting my clients twice a day. So it's not that I'm online the whole time. So when they put in a message, yes, of course, I've seen it. Maybe I've turned off my notifications, but twice a day, I want to check in and see if there's any questions for me. And that really creates a lot of ease in my head. The sixth tip that I want to share with you, 3 more to go, is that I think, relatively automated a lot of processes quite quickly in the business that I'm in. So as I told you before, the Calendly link really helped me. But also my client enrollment is completely automated. And I am also using an app called Zapier to have my systems communicate. And this, also, I don't want to say that this has changed my life, but it made my life a lot easier. I don't like to do tasks that I think that I shouldn't do. This sounds a little bit harsh, but really try to think of things that you're doing all the time. So for instance, customer service, is that really something you have to do all the time? Write out, how do you say it, invoices. Is that really something that you have to do? Or are there ways to automate that? And the 7th tip I want to give you is, imagine if you have, clients coming to you and it's actually you have too much work. I want you to think about, maybe instead of denying or rejecting the client, I want you to think of subcontracting your work. I have done this for years now. So when I was a freelancer before this, so I had a lot of, ups and downs, both in being busy or getting income. And I wanted to kind of create a more stable income. And that's why I have this group of freelancers around me that I knew that I could call them, or they would call me sometimes, to subcontract. So how does it work? I take on a client, and parts of the work I am delegating to someone else. It's very important to have a decent contract with that person. And it's also a very good idea to talk about this with your clients, because they would want to know, or you can maybe put it in your agreement that you don't have to check that with them. It doesn't really matter how you do it. It's just something that could help you help that client better. So subcontracting is also really a way to become more productive. Same goes, for instance, if you're a coach and you have many coachees, maybe support coaches can help you in your business. And then the 8th productivity hack is really communicate well with your team. Be very clear and have as least checks as possible in the processes that you've made. So you've processed a lot of things. For instance, for me, this process of having this podcast, I'm recording my podcast. My producing is helping me make it all sound very nice and well. Then a video editor in my team helps me create the videos on and puts them on YouTube. I am putting the audio files on Buzzsprout, and then my copywriter is writing a blog post, and that goes on my website, and then I am creating lead magnets, or my virtual assistant is creating lead magnets, putting them into ConvertKit. And there's all these different kinds of processes. I mean, I don't want to bore you with all these things, but we know exactly what to do. Of course, in the beginning, it's a little bit rusty and you're like, how does it work? And it was a little bit busier on Slack when I was launching this podcast, of course, because it's something new. But in the end, right now, I don't have any problems with this anymore. My team knows exactly what I want from them. And so it works. So that will also help you save a lot of time. So those are my 8 productivity hacks. Focus on your target every day. Number 1. Number 2 is having a morning routine. Number 3, planning things ahead. Number 4, eliminate all meetings. Number 5, eliminate unnecessary processes. Number 6 is automate quickly. 7, subcontract. And 8, be very clear in your communication to your team. And you can download the productivities checklist for free. You can find it in the description. And you can actually still subscribe to my mastermind of the big business. I'm very much looking forward to welcoming you there and working with you on, for instance, your productivity, because we have a huge module actually on this, and I'm sharing all my systems with you, how it exactly works, my standard operating procedures, and all different kinds of templates that I'm using to make my business much easier. And I want to end the episode with a quote. It's coming from Kim Kardashian, and she's saying, if you put that effort in, you'll get what you want. And with that quote, I want to end episode number 17. Thank you so much for listening. Do not forget to share, subscribe, and rate this podcast. And see you next week.